Hello, everybody, and good evening. Well, it's evening anyway for me here in Lagos, Nigeria. Really excited to see you here. My name, if this is the first time you're joining in any of my lives, or you're scrolling on LinkedIn and you see my face and you're wondering what's going on, my name is Dr. Gloria Edozian, and this is my series, Female African on Boards, where we interview female executives across the continent and diaspora on their board leadership journey. And today I have someone amazing with us, really excited because Rwanda is a country that has, top level representation when it comes to women in leadership. So I'm really excited to have a woman here in leadership from Rwanda, who's going to be sharing her story with us. But before I introduce her, I just want to say hello to the people who are joining in. So if you're joining in, please tell us your name, tell us where you're joining in from, what city you're joining in from, and we'll be sure to welcome you. Like I said earlier, my name is Dr. Gloria Dozian. Apart from being the host of Female African and on Boards, I am also a LinkedIn visibility and thought leadership expert for female executives. And I run a visibility launchpad for board and speaker ready women. So super excited. That's me. And I'll be introducing my guests. But please let us know your name, what city you're joining in from, whenever you're watching this, right? And I will be sure to welcome you. Okay, so my guest for today, oh my God, I'm so excited to have her on here. Her name is Alice. Alice, I hope I'm pronouncing your surname correctly. Alice Rwema. Did I get that
Well,
right?
in my mother tongue, we pronounce it as Rugwema, but Rwema will do.
Rem, Rema, Rema.
Yes,
Did I get that
yes,
right?
yes.
Okay, at least
You did.
60%, 60%, 60%. Okay.
It's okay.
So Alice is a seasoned energy executive and experienced board leader with over 15 plus years driving strategic initiatives in the energy and infrastructure sectors in East and Central Africa. She's currently the VP Legal and Compliance at Ampersand, where she plays a key role in advancing innovation and regulatory alignment in the e-mobility industry. As you can imagine, she's a distinguished executive director and has led in various capacities across energy and infrastructure. She has served on major boards like the Rwanda Energy Group, the Rwanda Airports Authority, and the Development Bank for Rwanda. And in these roles, she has contributed high-level strategic planning, institutional reform, and oversight of large-scale energy and infrastructure projects. So she's also a trusted advisor and a former acting board chairperson for the Rwanda Energy Group. She has an executive master's as well as a master's in business law, which really gives her a unique set of skills as an executive. So please join me in welcoming Alice to the conversation.
Thank you. Thank
Hi,
you very
Alice.
much.
Alice,
Hi, hi.
that's such a bumper profile. Really excited to have you on here. The first person I see, Ruby. Ruby is joining us from Jos in Nigeria. Hi, Ruby. Ruby, nice to see you. Please, if you're also joining in, like Ruby, just put in your name in the chat, the city you're joining in from, I'll be sure to welcome you. And obviously, as we are discussing, if you have any questions for Alice, please make sure that you put the question in the chat and I'll be sure to ask her. So Alice, let's get started. I know I kind of read out your bio there. Really interesting bio, a lot of experience. But what is in the bio? What is not in the bio, right? What is it about you that is not in the bio that the ladies listening and a few men would be interested to know?
Well, what's not in the bio? First of all, I'm a woman from Rwanda. I think you've already mentioned that. I'm a mother of three kids who
Ah,
are under 8 years old
wow.
and a wife. So that's not in my bio. And I'm a lawyer. as well. And I am very excited to be here. It's my actually first time to do a LinkedIn Live. For me, it's a way when I think about when I was thinking about this session, I was thinking about how do I give back because I've received so much.
Amazing.
If I can encourage a woman, even if it's one, to lean in, to move to their next goals, if it's a board seat or an executive position, then I will have probably given back just a little bit.
Amazing. I
So
love
that,
that. I love that sort of give back ethos. That's amazing. So you were still saying something, Alice.
yeah, well, I was saying that I was given so much, and I was given so much by my government, the country of Rwanda, because the first time I was appointed to be on a board, it was actually it's not part of my bio. It was for a board on one of the biggest government entity. That time it was in 2013, and it was on a board of an institution that does no longer exist, but it used to be a utility company that combines both water and electricity. It used to be called Energy, Water, and Sanitation Authority. So that was my first board seat
Amazing.
actually. And then 20 I was 26. So you cannot imagine how much anxiety I had.
Wow.
But the opportunity was given to me, mostly because that's how my country works. It gives to young people opportunities. Uh, and from then, I've grown so much. So, I mean, as I said, I've been given a lot, and I'm happy to share some of it. Yeah.
Amazing, Alice. You were on your first board at the age of 26. Is that what you
Yes,
said?
I was. Yes.
My God. What was that like? Well, I don't even think I was aware of board seats and what that meant at the age of 26. So what was that like for you?
Well, let's just say, and I'm not pretending it's the same thing for everyone. It's because of the uniqueness of my country. That time, it was in 2013, as I said. I had just started my career a couple of years back, but in the sector that was on the move. It was being built. Everything was new for us, mostly because just to give also some background, in my country, we come from a country that had a disastrous past, that has a disastrous past. We had the genocide against the Tutsi in 1994, and because of that, everything went down. There were no institutions, there were nothing, and the country had to rebuild. So you can imagine from 1994 to 2013, it's actually not a very long time. It's just under 10, is it under 10 years after that?
Mm, mm, mm.
No, under
It's
20 years after the
yeah,
genocide.
yeah.
19 years after the genocide. So that means the country was just on the move building everything. And that's why young people were given many opportunities to build. And when I started in the energy sector, of course, people were there. They had been working. It's not me who started
Mm.
in the ministry of in charge of energy, but we were new. We were actually all contributing to a country that was just building everything. So that's an opportunity that's probably not many get. But yeah, it was an opportunity that was given to me, and I made sure that I milked it.
I can imagine. That's amazing, Alice. Thank you for sharing that. But how do you then, can you walk us through going into that sort of that board opportunity at 26 to then becoming a director at the Development Bank for Rwanda? What has that journey been like?
So the journey, obviously, there were many challenges. The first thing that you get when you're under 30 and you're appointed on a board is like, what am I doing here?
Mm,
Doubts about yourself, feeling that you don't belong. You're tiny, you're a young woman, you look like you're a teenager, basically.
mm,
So not in this continent, that doesn't inspire wisdom to other people. Feels like you don't belong to them, and to yourself, it's even worse. So I think I was raised by parents, mostly uh, seeing my grandmother very resilient. She went through hell. As I said, there was a genocide in my country in 1994, and my grandmother lost 7 sons in that genocide. So
Gosh.
seeing her going through life, living after that, and being resilient, I think it's one of the things that gave me strength through life. There was nothing that was going to stop me, not people not believing in me, or not even me not believing in myself. I just had
Oh,
to make it work. Yeah. So resilience for me is something that I admire, that I think gets people very far, because the only constant thing, it's not only change, I think problems too. And they're all constant. And if you are not resilient, you give up. So I think resilience is something that is a virtue that I aspire to have. I continue to pray for, and that's what has gotten me here.
amazing, amazing. That's such a strong story of sort of, watching your grandmom, seeing that resilience. And then I love what you said about, what people thought about you wasn't going to stop you, and not even what you thought about yourself was going to stop you.
Yes,
Because many times women, our limiting beliefs are self-taught. People might even believe in us, but we don't believe in ourselves. So I think that's such a powerful quote that all the women listening to today should remember. So I see Kikelomo from Lagos has joined. We also have Benga from Lagos who has joined. Nice to see you. Thank you so much for joining. If you're just joining, we're having a conversation with Alice Rwema, who is the board director at the Development Bank for Rwanda. And this is Female African and on Boards, our LinkedIn live series where we interview female executives on their board leadership journey. So speaking about resilience, right? And I see that as a key mindset shift that you had to make. What do you think was responsible for you, becoming continuing on that board journey? So I hear you with resilience, but were there other things like networks, like what other things propelled you on that board leadership journey?
okay, so yes, resilience, I talked about it a lot, but that that's created by what? By hard work, first of all. Doing your homework, understanding what your board needs from you. Because when structuring boards, there are different sets of skills that shareholders or the stakeholders are looking for, and there's a reason they choose you. So when they choose, for me, the reason why I was chosen, it's probably because I was a lawyer, and I was doing well in the positions that I had. So that's why I was chosen. But then that's an interest level. Then you have to prove yourself. And that's, you prove yourself by doing your homework, by doing your job correctly, by building relationships there and everywhere else you go, because you never know. So when you build relationships, it's not only your smile or your kindness, they are very important, but you build relationship through also performing. Because when you perform, when you do your job correctly, people look forward to giving you your next job, right? So even if you're in a position today, do it as if you are working for your next position. You don't know who's watching. You don't know who give you your next opportunity. And
Amazing.
and in most cases, they'll give you the opportunity because you deserve it, because they know you can do the job. So how do they know you can do the job? Is because you're doing correctly your current job.
I love that. I love that. So
So for
Alice, you
me,
may
it's
not be. Can you hear me? Even if you
yes,
can't
I
see me,
can
can
hear
you?
you.
Okay,
I can
fantastic.
see.
Just sure.
Yes.
Okay. So, Alice, I
Sorry.
love that response around excellence. And sorry, we have a bit of a power cut here. That's why you can't see me, but I'm glad you can hear me. And
I
it
can
will soon
hear
be
you.
fixed. We'll just carry on. So I see Grace. Grace has joined us. Hi, Grace. Thank you for joining. Please, if you're wherever, let us know what city you're joining in from and your name as well. Okay, so I love that response around. So we have resilience, we have mastery, doing your job well, leveraging networks, really important. One of the questions that I often get from women is, how do I know that I'm board ready? How do I know that I'm board ready? So in your experience, what makes a candidate board ready?
I think a candidates to be board ready is to pass the operational mindset and
Mm,
see strategic and see the bigger picture of a specific institution. If you're able to look at where an institution is and where it should be heading to on a strategic level, I think you've passed the test of being ready.
mm, mm,
Because when you're in a boardroom, it's not about how much competent you are on a technical or operational level. It's how much you can contribute on a strategic level and how much you see the bigger picture and the vision and how you can help support the management to achieve the strategic direction of a company. So basically,
mm.
you have to have some sort of mind shift and understand that the board position is not about operations because the board appoints the management, the best talents to do daily operations. So at the board level, you're not looking at operations, you're looking at strategic direction of a company and what it needs to achieve and the global vision of a company. So you if you have that, if you understand that, then you're board ready.
I love that. And this is something that I discuss with women a lot about the need to move from sort of operational conversations around their skills to their strategic influence in their industry. And I'm glad
Exactly.
that you've mentioned this because I think it's something that women need to learn to practice. And sometimes because we are so involved in the doing, we don't have that breadth of time to remove ourselves to say, okay, how is what I'm doing strategic and contributing to the overall growth of the company beyond the doing. So I really love that example. We've had more people joining us, Alice. So we have Dorothy from Lagos, we have Onyeka from Lagos, we have Iyola from Lagos, we have Gabriel from Lagos. My Lagosians are representing. Um, Thank you so much for joining
Good.
us, guys. Wherever you're joining us from, whatever city, please just let us know in the comments, and we will definitely introduce you. Alice, this is such a great conversation, and I really like the last thing you said around strategic versus operational, right? But now let's move to mistakes. And I'm sure that as somebody who has that give back ethos, there might be women who you've mentored or who you've seen who are also on this board journey, or even yourself, right? What are some of the common mistakes you've seen women make and maybe even men make on their board leadership journey?
The common mistakes that I made, I would say that I made myself, and that's along the way I've seen people make. First of all, it's to either underestimate yourself, to have too
Mm,
much self-doubt and bring it in the boardroom. So there's self-doubt, but there's also bringing it on the table and expose
mm.
it. Because then when you have self-doubt, at that level, no one trusts you. When you expose your
Wow.
self-doubt, no one trusts you. If you can't believe yourself, who do you expect will believe you in a boardroom?
Mm,
Who, like that, I think as women, we have it strongly, self-doubt, a sense of not belonging. probably more than men. But I think the first thing to do is to try and keep it inside if you can,
Mm.
at least. Because I know that whatever is inside is reflected on the outside, but sometimes you can minimize that effect,
Mhm.
right? You can work on it, uh, and make sure that when you step out, it's not the only thing that people see. That's the first thing. The other thing is the opposite of that: overestimating yourself, overconfidence.
Mhm.
I think the right amount of confidence is the right amount of confidence, the balanced one, backed by knowledge, backed by doing your performance and by doing your homework. I think confidence is an invaluable asset, but it has to be backed by something. When you have overconfidence and it's not backed by knowledge, it's not backed by performance, it's not backed by hard and soft skills, emotional intelligence, it also does not
Mm.
serve you. So that's the second mistake. The third
Mm.
mistake is purely not doing your homework, not doing your job, and expecting that the title is enough.
Wow.
No, you have to back it with something tangible. So for me, absolutely confident, but back it with something. Let it be justifiable. Don't self doubt.
Mm.
Try as much as you can to not self doubt, but don't oversell yourself as well when it's not backed by knowledge. Absolutely sell yourself. I'm all for it. But don't overdo it if it's not backed by something. Because remember, trust is is earned, but when it's lost, when people see through you that you're
Mm.
just all talks and you're not really, it's not really backed by something, then you lose it. You lose the trust, and when you lose the trust, it's hard to get it back.
Amazing, amazing.
Yeah, that's
Alice,
all I can say.
Alice, I think that's so instrumental. I love what you say around self doubt actually being a trust killer. Because if you don't trust yourself, how will other people trust you? But then, of course, there's that other side of the extreme where we are now bravado and all of that, and people's face, and again, that could be an issue, right? But also
Absolutely.
fundamentally, mastery is important, and making sure that you do your homework so that you don't lose that trust that has been given.
Exactly.
Fantastic,
And read
fantastic
the
one.
room. Always read
Mm,
the room. Always read the room. Understand who is at the table.
mm,
What do they what do they like? Who are they? What's their culture?
mm.
Give yourself time to read the room, to understand the dynamics, to understand a lot of things, and then pick your answer. At least that's for me, that's my motto.
Mm.
Well, I've made many mistakes in my career. I'm not pretending. And you get to these conclusions because you've seen it one time. You overdid this, or you underdid this, or I just started talking without reading the room, and then whatever you do in life has consequences. Let's just say that. And it's the same thing in the boardroom.
Amazing, amazing. I love that. Read the room, understand the culture, understand who else, who is in the room, understand the stakes, right? Understand the
Yes,
stakes in
and
the room. So important, and really important for boardroom
absolutely.
politics, right? There's so
Yes,
much politicking happening in the boardroom that if you are not somebody who practices self-awareness or emotional intelligence, you can shoot yourself in the foot before the journey has even
exactly.
begun.
Yes. And getting back your feet will take you some time and energy.
Hmm.
So you need to
Very
be, I think you need to be, yes, mindful of that and read the room.
amazing, amazing. So speaking about reading the
Yeah.
room, right? we've talked about women moving from the operational to the strategic. We've talked about the importance of selling yourself. We've talked about reading the room, all of that. But how can women better articulate their board value proposition?
Oof. Well, I think I said overselling yourself is bad, but just the right amount. I think
Mm.
value yourself as well. Value yourself, put yourself out there, lean in. I read this book by Sheryl Sandberg,
Yes.
Lean In, and that I cannot tell you how much that book helped me because all along I thought I was alone in this world, feeling all these feelings, putting
Mm,
myself down when I shouldn't, and then I realized women all over the world have the same experience.
mm.
Either being the CEO of Facebook or being a woman in his home in Kigali, we all have the same thing, the same experience, I would say. So having read that made me realize that we all go through the same things. We all go through the feeling of not belonging, of not being qualified enough, of all that. But what we need to do is to put ourselves out there. Lean in,
Mm.
lean in, out of your comfort zone. Contribute when you have something to say. Don't keep quiet. Take a chair at the table because you belong there, right?
Mm.
And put yourself out there for strategic roles. Apply. It's also an experience. Even applying itself is also an experience. Going for that interview, it's an experience. You may not get a board seat at first, but do it because if you don't, no one will just bring you the opportunity um, just like that. Maybe you're able to do it, but no one knows if you don't apply, if you don't put yourself forward, if you don't take that chair, if you don't express yourself. So we just have really to continue leaning in.
Amazing. I love that. Lean in, take that opportunity, volunteer, go for the interview, all of those things. Because many times women, we wait for perfection. We wait to have all our ducks in a row before we make the move. But leaning in is about, it's about experimenting, I think. It's about
Yes,
trying, it's about not waiting.
exactly,
So I really love that example. So let's move to
exactly.
networking. Let's move to networking. I know I mean, you gave such a powerful example about getting on your first board at the age of 26, which was through a government appointment. But as you've gone on in your board journey, what role has like things like sponsorships and networks played in your journey to the boardroom?
First of all, that was my first boardroom appointment, but since then I've been appointed to three boards, and I'm humbled to say these are the main companies in Rwanda, among the main one, at least among top 10. And the reason I got there, it's network. That's it. It's
Mm,
referrals. People give referrals because they've seen you in action, as I said. And where they've seen you is because you are networking, because you are performing, because you are leaning in. It's not, I think it's not friendship. And for me, I define mentorship on it. It's many different things for me,
mm,
mentorship. It may not be someone that I have regular meetings with. Maybe someone who have seen me grow, who have given me valuable um, advice, wisdom, passed on here and there, and that's what defined my career, right? So for me, it's whether people are looking at you or not when you're doing your job with correctly in boardroom in executive. executive positions, or even middle management, whatever. Because when people see you in action, and that's how they know who you are. Because most people look at what you do, not what you say. And when
Mm,
people see that, they get close to you in one way or another, and when they're in rooms that are important and they're looking for people, they say, I know someone for this. Give them an interview or consider them. And that
mm,
experience is built by really what you're giving out, what
mm.
you're giving, not what you're taking. That's my experience.
Amazing, amazing. Alice, we have David joining from Rwanda. He says, an old friend of Alice. Thanks for joining, David. Thanks for
Hi,
joining,
David.
David. So, Alice, I really enjoyed that response around, a lot of times people are in networks and they are wallflowers, right? People can't see them. But this idea of letting people see you in action, so joining subcommittees of the professional associations that you are a part of, being sharing your expertise, these things help you become sticky, right? Help you become memorable so that when opportunities arise, people can remember you and refer you for those opportunities. So thank you for sharing that. So if you're just joining in now, this is Female African and on Boards. I'm the host, Dr. Gloria Dozian. My lights, we have a power issue that just happened while we were while we were neck deep in this. But I'm using a makeshift light. So forgive the way I look like there's a halo around me. It's the power cut here.
It's okay.
But we have Alice Rwema. Oh, Alice, I'm so sorry because I know I'm butchering your
It's
last
okay.
name, and
That's fine. No,
she is um, a non-executive director at
that's really fine.
thank you at the Development Bank for Rwanda. And we're just talking about her board journey, her board leadership journey, and it's been such an interesting conversation. If you have any questions, we'll soon be wrapping up. So if you have any questions for Alice, please put them in the chat. If you're just joining, tell us your name and what city you're joining in from. So, Alice, you've talked about relationships, referrals being key in your board leadership journey. For women who are listening now, how can they start to build those types of relationships? What should they do?
Well, Leaning, go
Mm,
out, go networking, put yourself out there, I think. Connect with people on LinkedIn. Try to get, talk to people. You may try to connect with 100, only five will get back to you. That's fine. That's really fine. And connect with us. Now we have so many ways of connecting with people, but there are network opportunities when you go to conferences, when you go to meetings, get to know who is next to you, talk to them.
mm,
Really get interested to people, not interest, not what they might give you back, but people.
mm,
Get to know the people, connect with them truly. Because I believe that genuine connections is always a positive thing. But when it's a connection because you want something from that person, I can guarantee you that thing will not last.
mm,
They will see through you at some point. It may work in the beginning, but it will not continue to. It will not be a genuine and lasting relationship. So for me, I really prefer to connect with people, even if it's few, connect it with them genuinely in my professional life, in my personal life. I may have a couple of friends, that's fine, as long as I connect with them truly.
mm,
So it's the same thing in my professional life. I get interested to people that I admire. I tell it to them and I keep it genuine. I don't ask anything from them. I just keep it genuine and connect with them. And eventually it's either them or someone else or referral, but they you get opportunities. And also give back just the way and this is another thing I believe in life. Whatever you give out comes back to you in with the multiplier. So if you give back and you lift other people up, you'll get the same thing, the same treatment as well. In one way or another. It may not be the people that you think will do it, but connections and networking and relationship in general, they really give back in much.
Amazing. Just to give people some context, Alice and I have actually never met before. Our first time of meeting was is on this live. We joined, I think, about 10 minutes beforehand, just to let people know how the power of LinkedIn and how you can build connections across the continent and across the world, really, right? And so, yes, what Alice is saying is true about connecting with people. It's something that is possible, and something that can really bring good rewards. So, Alice, my next question now is around board opportunities in Africa, right? Are there any peculiar, is there anything peculiar about the board leadership opportunities or landscape in Africa that women really need to understand?
Well, on so many levels, there's a lot to be done in Africa. So there will be a lot of opportunities in Africa. At the same time, it's a continent that is male dominated. So don't get that wrong. For for a long time, and I come from a country that promotes women rights and supports women. So I am really, really lucky. But I've also interacted in the region with many different institutions, and in many cases, I was in meetings where I was the only woman against 50 men.
Mm,
So it's very male dominated, which is fine. It depends on the, it comes from a background that is like that. I'm not here to um, talk badly about being about men. I'm just
mhm,
saying there will be challenges, there will be sense of not belonging, but at the same time, there's a lot that has to be done in Africa. So there will be lots of opportunities. Just
mm,
get
mm.
ready and lean in. That's all I can say.
I love that. I love that. So, yes, while there are a lot of issues in Africa, there's space for women, but we should realize that we're also in a patriarchal society. But we shouldn't let that stop us. We should keep leaning in.
No,
I think that's a good perspective to sort of have as we carry on with our board journey. Um, Now, for a lot of people that might be joining the call, this might be, they might be just starting off on their board journey, or maybe have a few board advisory roles, and looking for, for further opportunities. What would you say to women who are saying, okay, in the next 6 to 12 months, I want to be on a board? What should they start doing today?
well, the first thing is to prepare yourself. Make sure
Mm,
in your industry you're a leader in your
mm,
industry on a personal level. You don't have to have a position for you to be a leader, right?
mm,
You can contribute on networks, you can contribute in so many levels, on so many levels. So first,
mm,
the first job is to work on yourself. Are you ready?
mm,
And there's always an opportunity to learn. There's always an opportunity to move to move your career. And the second step is to get yourself out there, apply for board positions, talk to people, connect with people, express your interest in being on boards, and keep 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 doing that until you get one. That's all I can say.
So I really like the idea around expressing your desire to be on board. I think that's something that sometimes women struggle to do because we don't want to look desperate. We don't want to look like we're looking for attention or we are begging for opportunities, right? What would you say to women who,
Yes.
for example, they keep wanting to get more degrees or more qualifications before they feel board ready? What would be your advice to them?
Well, when when I got my first board position, I only had a bachelor's degree. After that,
Wow.
I went on and got two master's degree. So I think yes, qualifications help, but it's who you are and what you're able to contribute that that makes you board ready, right? It's your leadership in your industry. I don't believe necessarily that titles and many degrees make you smart. And in this era of course, titles and degrees are good to have, but in this era where knowledge is at your fingertips, really, you can get knowledge without necessarily having all the degrees. Go ahead and get the degrees. That should not stop you. That should not stop you from preparing yourself for the next level of your career.
I love that. My goodness. 26 first board role and only your first degree. But then after still going and getting two masters and building your board portfolio career. So inspirational. And I think it's
Thank
also
you.
about balance, right? Don't waste so much time getting the degrees that you're not getting the experience of actually sitting on boards. Is what I'm hearing you say. So loud and clear. So
I
I
think the
I
experience and what you're able to contribute is what gets you on board. Of course, also degrees are important. They put a
mm,
stamp on your forehead and say this person has this level of knowledge, right?
mm,
So it's very important as well. But my point is that should not stop you as
mm.
you go towards your next goals in your career, whatever it is, board or executive. Move with what you have and then keep making it better.
Love it.
That's fine. That's absolutely fine. By learning, by relearning, by unlearning. So everything you have to just try and make yourself better every day.
I love that. Move with what you have and make it better as you go on your journey. Fantastic.
Exactly. And never
So
stop
I
learn and
yes,
unlearn as well.
learn and unlearn. Very true. Very true. I'm wrapping up the questions now. I have two questions, and this one is a bit of a fun question. So, if you could invite any three women, or maybe two women, living or dead, to join you on a board, right? Who would they be and why? If you can invite two or three women to join you on a board, who would they be and why?
Oh, okay. I think the first person, unfortunately, she's no longer here. It would be my mother-in-law, my late mother-in-law.
Wow.
She was a trailblazer of a person. She was the smartest person I've ever met. She grew up in a period where women going to school was problematic, first of all, but she still went. And she lost her husband when she had 5 kids, and she still raised them with giving them the best education possible by herself as a refugee in a foreign country. So,
Wow.
I mean, what I mean to say by that is she was courageous, she was very smart, and she knew how to read people. The minute she meets you, she won't talk up a lot, but she will understand who you are. And she had very high level of emotional intelligence. So she had a blend of, I think, strategic leadership qualities that I would like to have one day and I would
Mm.
like to have as a colleague. She was not only smart, she had high emotional intelligence, and she had high level of listening capacity. When you combine all that, you have pure wisdom coming out. So for me, she would be the first person I would invite. I don't know if there's another one. I'm thinking.
Amazing. Amazing. Real
But
stories
of
of
course,
resilience.
yes.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay. Our final question comes from Mary. And Mary is asking about the board application process. She says, are there places where you can actually apply to join boards? or is it only through appointments and referrals?
No, I think some companies as well. I've seen it with banks, where they announce board positions and they ask for applications. Obviously, the requirements are quite high, the ones that I've seen. But yes, I've seen announcements for board positions.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying. Okay. Well, we've come to the end of this amazing session. Thank you so much, Alice.
Thank you too, Dr. Glory. I think there's an internet connection from Dr. Glory, but for everyone who is here, I think our time is up. Thank you very much for coming today. And I wish you luck in your journey. And hey, connect with me and we can continue to exchange. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you so much. Sorry we had to end abruptly. I think we had some internet challenges, but this was such a fantastic session. A lot of learnings. If you're just joining, please go back and listen to the start where Alice really talked about the start of her board journey at the age of 26, the importance of resilience, networking, leaning in as part of her journey, and this idea around not letting self-doubt cheat you out of potential board roles, and how self-doubt can actually lead to a lack of trust, and also being able to read the room when you're on boards. So it was such an interesting conversation. Thank you so much for joining. If you have other people you would like me to interview in the series, please let me know. And if you'd like to find out more about ASCENT, which is our visibility launchpad for female executives who are board and speaker ready, please just look in the comments. You'll find a link to join or find out more information about ASCENT and apply to join. Okay, thank you so much. And thank you for bearing with us with our internet connectivity issues and also power challenges. Thank you so much. Bye, everyone. Good night.